We're the Infamy team. I'm Darren. This is Steve, Jake, and Blake, and we're here to talk about Valorant and is it trash or not? So, boys, Valorant released. Well, they had a gameplay release and a bunch of trailers last week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been trickling out, but
Shallow, to be honest. Like
it's
a
real
I
hard.
surface
There's,
Uh,
surface level
I don't know.
I agree. I
doesn't look like
agree.
they reskinned like half the moves for like there's literally 5 moves. It's like the orb move, like an AoE Molotov move, and
Hmm.
then a wall move, and
Yeah,
then they're all their unique moves.
yeah. That
And
was
that's
that was
it.
one of the first things I noticed when I saw gameplay. That a lot of the abilities seem to be super similar, and
well,
at
it's almost
first I
like they
was
don't
like,
want it to be super about the abilities. Like that's kind
yeah,
of what
yeah.
you have to figure out. It's like they want the aiming to
It's
be so
about the
much that they don't
gunplay.
want the abilities to make it all like Overwatch does.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I that's like good for some people. Like obviously, CS:GO has a whole community built on that, but for me personally, I hate games like that. I hate like having to camp corners and like
Just holding
Yeah,
down
well,
pushing
position.
lanes, just holding
I think
down
that's what the moves
positions.
are supposed to alleviate is kind of like
Yeah,
Hmm.
make up more openings for you than just having to
yeah,
like
yeah.
To like initiate fights.
Yeah, I did see some cool, like at first I was like this like these moves like you said Steve, these moves don't lend themselves to like have any impact on the gameplay. But then I saw one clip where the guy was like I'll throw down the fog screen and then like you shoot your arrow and we'll be able to shoot through the fog and I was like, "All right, that's kind of cool." What my first impression of it when I heard about it was like it was going to be more like Overwatch with like overbearing abilities and then like gunplay was like a side thing. So that
well, their whole big thing is that they're pushing like zero
mhm.
latency and like just like all like trying to get a jump on all the problems that people have with Counter Strike, like off the jump,
Yeah. Mhm.
like in like anti-cheater software. So it's like you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
no
Oh yeah.
excuse for why that kid out
yeah,
aimed you, you know.
Hmm.
So that
yeah.
like start with that base and then build off that.
Uh,
What
and
I,
then, oh,
what
you
I'm
go,
more
Jake.
interested in is we kind of seen how the abilities kind of help you initiate fights, but to kind of like the defensive side of things, like how do teams react when they're getting engaged upon? Like how are they going to use what what X smoke or with wall or the air girl who like can fly up a little bit and kind of boost herself up like a Farah rocket boost, kind of like how like you react, the reactionary side of the abilities come into play.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
there are a
from
couple support characters. Like if you look at all their abilities, it's like pretty even as far as support characters. So you have like Cypher, right? That's like the all the trap god, right? He's got like tripwire and like cage. So he's like the only one with like some different moves, right? He has like a
yeah,
slow,
He's like
and he has
the
like
cap cam
yeah,
of Valorant, if you're
yeah.
yeah,
familiar.
He the
like
information
to Sage,
gatherer.
right? Sage, like one of her moves
Mhm.
is what is it?
She's
She has like the
she has
break
the
armor
healing,
pack.
right?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
break
the
armor.
healing thing. But
Sage that
that's
has
like
the wall.
wait, what? Yeah, she. I
Somebody
think
She
no,
does. She has
no,
the
she
solid
has
wall.
the barrier,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, the barrier.
yeah.
the
That's the
barrier
only one that
orb.
you can walk through
Yeah,
that I
and then she has
saw.
the healing orb. Like you said, Jake, with the defensive capabilities. From what I saw from the moves, there wasn't that much of like reactionary play. Even the healing orb
Yeah,
from the gameplay I saw, it was like people just getting three tapped, and it's like, what can you really heal?
Well, it's all about
The
setting
pistol
up
popped.
engagements, really, and then it's like
Yeah,
if you manage to win that shootout, then like you're
yeah,
not
you
completely
can
fucked
heal.
on the next one.
Uh
You
huh.
heal them up back, and it's more for in
Yeah.
between than like actual like
Hmm.
mid fight. You know.
Man, there's a lot of like honestly like from the surface it looks like it's shallow, but there's gonna be a lot of interplay with these moves. Like from the gameplay videos, you're looking at people that have probably played the game for maybe a couple hours at most.
Hmm.
I cannot wait to see like yeah they look like they're all kind of similar, but I can't wait to see like how disorienting like not being able to see is. Like you drop that stupid what's the wind girl? She's got that
The
stupid
cloud of
orb, the
smoke.
wind orb. Yeah, like a lot of
Yeah.
people have blinds, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah, that seems like what they're going for is like vision obstruction is the whole gimmick of a bunch of characters,
Yeah.
and it
Well, I
makes
just want to
like
sense.
say there's supposed to be there's like 8 planned right now, and I think like they're going for like 12 on release, so there should be. It's hard to
I
imagine
think
what
they
the difference
announced
is
eight.
going to be. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think they announced 8 and they planned for 12 initially at least, and but it's like since so many are taking from each other with just like kind of small tweaks, like this wall is poison, fire, and
This wall is
Mhm.
fire.
so it'll be interesting if they go a whole new direction with it and how it'll change it.
Yeah, I was reading through an article and I came across a comment. One guy was talking about how Riot did the same thing with League. When League first came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this game is like bare bones and super basic," and they slowly, with
It's almost a
updates,
better way to start, you know, than
yeah,
to
Yeah.
really like.
uh-huh,
Give you
then
too
like set
much.
it all up.
Yeah.
And it really gives a strong foundation for the game. So hopefully that's what they're doing with this. But I mean, I think everyone's like jumping on the alpha hate bandwagon a
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit
just
too
curious
early.
who they're trying to appeal to. Like, it definitely seems mostly CS out of like all the things it's made out of, with like
Mhm.
some Overwatch, like maybe, but it's not going to appeal to like the mass majority of Overwatch's fan base,
Yeah,
like the Mercy players and the main tanks and stuff who like are want to play without aiming and just all game sense. So
yeah,
like
Mhm.
even the healer, it's like you got to be able to pop some heads if
yeah.
you're her. So
Certainly.
And like I want to see the extent of the ability level up, like our abilities, like how strong are they going to get? Do they turn into different abilities? There's a lot of stuff you can do with that system, but from the screen that I saw, it was like a lot of focus on the guns that you can buy,
yeah,
and
do
then
they
like
upgrade?
abilities for.
I'm not sure
I don't.
the moves
It
upgrade.
doesn't seem like it. Just seems like you can buy them as like you
Oh,
progress.
you
Like the
oh
like
you
one
buy.
of them, I saw that like you unlock it by getting kills. Like there's a like a kill meter and you have
That's
to
their
fill it out.
That's
ultimate.
the
Yeah.
that's the
Let's
ultimates.
see.
Yeah, you get 6 kills,
Yeah, it's like
or
6
and
kills.
there's also orbs on the map that like you can. It takes some time to pick
Mhm.
up, so like you're exposed, but it gives like one for
You know
every
what
lane or
game
two.
this is gonna remind me of? Blake and like Jake, you may remember with Destiny 2 Trials of Osiris with
I
the
was getting Destiny
limited,
vibes.
yeah, the limited ability impact, but like high aim intensity, and that game just ended up being super campy. I don't know if you guys remember when we like
Hands
tried
down,
playing.
what is the difference between this and like something like Overwatch? It's going to be carry potential. The whole thing that people bitched about the whole time on Overwatch was, oh my god, my team is trash. Now there's no excuse. You literally can see like some of the gameplay videos, people body like whole teams, no problem, because they're way
Hmm.
better. And like you're gonna have like the skill ceiling is gonna be really high in this game, and like I think that's why they kept it simplistic at the beginning, so that like people can get their bearings, and then like
Hmm.
the meta will show itself, right? But
Hmm.
that carry potential is gonna make it. It's gonna keep it going, like how CS:GO is still like it. Maybe not fresh, but people love
Hmm.
that game because it's like, okay, I can use my clutch. Like you have no clutch in Overwatch. You need a team behind you, otherwise you're
Yeah.
gonna just get bodied the whole time.
Can you guys hear me? Or am I talking to
Yeah,
myself?
yeah, I can
No,
hear
I
you.
can hear you. I think it was just
Yeah,
the sloth.
This is the
yeah,
sloth.
just a bit of.
Yeah, well, it's kind of what a lot of games come down to is like the team play versus the carry potential, and
Mhm.
with such an emphasis on aiming, anyone can really pop off and
Yeah,
carry around. But I think the round dynamic, like CS, is going to be a big factor because I was like worried that it's like you really can only use most moves once per round, but the rounds seem
yeah.
to go really quick and the maps
Hmm.
aren't that big. So,
Hmm.
and the objective should kind of make people not camp, like
Yeah, but that's what I hate about those games. You go through like 2, 3 rounds, you get the gun you want, you die, you lose it, and then it's like you played the whole round, you don't get the chance to like absolutely.
I don't know, the gun carryover.
Yeah.
But you could say that for almost any game. Like you just like chain hack someone as Sombra, like you did the other day on this
Mm,
Moira.
mm, mm,
She didn't play the
yeah,
game.
that's true. You can. I don't know. I from me personally, I was expecting it to be more about like the powers and the team interplay. I want like a game with like true team mechanics. Like Overwatch was almost there, but then there's only certain synergies that work, and within those pairings, it becomes meta, and you have to use like certain characters together. But I want like a full like team dynamic. I thought Apex was gonna hit it with like the combinations of you have like Banglador and her smoke grenade, and then you have what's the hunter guy's name?
Bloodhound.
You have Bloodhound with his see-through his wall hacks, and that just creates a sick team dynamic where you just smoke the enemy team. Now you have your Bloodhound in there. I want to see like more stuff like that coming from games as opposed to like focusing on.
I don't know. Oh, sorry, it's kind of like a side tangent, but I just hate wall hacks. I think it's just a dumb mechanic that shouldn't be in an FPS game, like, at all.
Well, I was seeing some of them only do line of sight,
Mhm.
like at least the arrow one, like where you shoot out like a
Yeah,
thing and it pulses like 3 times, and during those pulses, if you're behind a wall, you won't show up. But
yeah. From what I saw, it didn't seem that busted. But again, in the hands of a top tier player, even seeing someone for half a second through a wall is like more than enough time to have severe impact on the game. So it could be needed to slow down the gameplay if you think about it from that perspective. 'Cause then you just have like a
yeah.
bunch of kids like running around.
But to what you were saying, Darren, about like combos, like I know you want like elemental combo powers and shit. Like it'd be cool if
Yeah.
it could be super loose, but usually what ends
Uh,
up happening is it just becomes like, okay, these two characters'
these two
abilities
characters,
are
yeah.
so overpowered, just run them every time, you know?
Yeah, that's what happened with Overwatch. You have like grab dragons, and that just becomes like the staple move and like stuff like that. So I mean, I guess it's the community itself that
It's
just
powerful
breaks the
synergies.
games.
Whenever
Yeah.
you have overpowered synergies like that, you're gonna have problems. You can't perfectly balance anything. You know,
Yeah.
then it doesn't feel like it's good. So you're gonna have the problem like, oh man, it doesn't feel like there's powerful synergies. But then you're gonna like then the inverse is like, okay,
Mhm.
you have grab dragons, where you're like, okay, yeah, it's powerful and it feels really good to land, and you're killing whole fucking teams. But at the same time, it doesn't feel good to get ran by the same
Yeah.
thing over and over and over
Over and
again.
over again. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen though. Even with this game, it happens with every game. Give something that has like a hair of an advantage over something else, and people are gonna play it because every advantage
Of course,
counts.
it's
Yeah.
already
Mhm.
determined that it's cultural appropriation, Hanzo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cultural
Yeah.
appropriation.
It's so weird that he just pulls out a bow out of
Dude,
nowhere to do it.
Like,
It's
what
like
is
no
the
one else is
reason
using a
behind that?
bow
It
for
could have been a
anything.
dart gun. It could have been
Yeah.
anything. No, he literally pulls
Like
out
you're
a
carrying
fucking
around
bow
this
for no
entire
reason. He's a
bow and
white guy.
arrow to
Why
do
does he have
this.
a bow?
I
You know, all
and
his other
honestly, the
tech,
cat.
his whole kit is like tech based too. Like he's got a drone and shit,
Well,
right? Is that him?
it's like the tip of it is like a device that like lands where it lands, and then it puts out like pulses for it. So it's still like tech based, but
That's
Mhm.
I don't
exactly
know.
the sonar arrow from.
It could have been a grenade. Like,
Yeah,
what's the difference?
exactly. That's
Like,
my whole point. That's why I'm like cultural, but like still,
it's just the fact that it does
his
the
kit
same
is
thing.
so
Mhm.
yeah, his kit is so overpowered though. Like if you look at it, like he gets a drone that flies around and it will tag darts on people and it will track them around the map.
Yeah, well, that's what makes me think team aspects are gonna be so
Important.
important, because there's like people who's like that guy's whole purpose is to do uh just gather intel, and then you send
Mhm.
in like your like, all right, throw a fire nade there, and
Hmm.
it's all about
Mhm.
communicating information.
I wonder if they'll make those like deployables destructible. Um, so maybe if they incorporate the IQ from like Siege, like if that's one of the characters on release, that it can like has a thing that can like scout out like, oh, there's a sonar arrow, or here's
I
a
think they
tripwire.
are.
Yeah, yeah. There's one character that puts out like deploys a
There's like
drone, right?
yeah, the
Yeah, but
drone,
Yeah,
and then you
that's
that's
can
so
just
just
shoot that.
like
cultural
visual.
appropriation. On
But like, will you be
Uh,
able to like ping? Oh, there's a trap there, or there's the sonar arrow, so you know this area or something. Well,
A lot
maybe
of it
that.
shows up
hon-
on the map.
Yeah, that's true.
I
honestly,
think all right, so like it's kind of funny that it's also named Owl Drone. That's the move that like it flies around. It literally
yeah.
flies around and shoots darts, right? So like
Uh-huh.
and it will reveal enemies so you can see them through the walls, right? It
Mhm.
will be nice if you can shoot that drone down because then it really doesn't have a lot of value.
Mm.
But like
I think
Yeah.
the
it's too
sonar
stupid
dart,
if you
it's
can't shoot a drone. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
No, you
in a
should.
shooter game, yeah, 100%. I mean, that would be dumb on their part if they didn't.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if it doesn't, it would be really unintuitive that you couldn't do it. But like as far as the dart goes, like
Mm.
I don't know how many. Like it really comes down to how many times can you use it per match. One,
Hmm.
two, what's the range on it, and three, like if it is for a long period of time, can you destroy it? Like Jake said.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Thinking about it now, this game literally, I had expected it to be exactly like Shadowrun with like you could get like abilities, you could get guns, you could get powers. It would be like a Shadowrun 2 essentially, which is what my expectation of it would have was gonna be. But
Shadowrun
I don't
had
know.
a
It
lot
still
more
has a chance.
verticality. I feel like when like much bigger maps. Like I
Yeah,
do like that
I
these
hate
maps
the
are
like
small, but I don't
I hate that
like the
it's like
static. Just like
one dimension
go
that
through
you're
the
just
choke.
like walking everything. Like there's 3 choke points, points A, B, and C. Just
Jet is the
very
only one that has any kind of verticality at all.
yeah.
Yeah, for right
I
But
was
it's
now.
not
gonna
even
say
that
that.
useful, really. Like I mean, I guess that is for high ground, but like the map's design doesn't really
Yeah,
contribute to that. Like
enable high ground.
Depends. They only showed the one map. Like there's that one. Like I don't know if you guys saw like how
Mhm.
much of the footage you saw, but there's like that one. I think it was like point A or whatever it was on the map, where like it was like you come out of the warehouse and there's like there's a little door on the bottom and there's a door on the top on the second floor. That was really the only like high ground that I saw in the
yeah.
entire map. And like
Yeah,
Then
and
you
the
if you
climb on
characters
see,
like
don't
like, I
trucks.
watched a
seem.
couple videos of like pro CS:GO players got invited to play, and it was pretty interesting to watch them play because they're like, all right, we're gonna blind here and here, so that they have to either come out to see us,
Hmm.
or they're gonna stay there, and we'll be able to like we'll be able to capture the point. It was really interesting to see, but like Jet could probably get up there to like infiltrate or like take out players, but like that's the only character that can do anything like that. It would be
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're maybe with. This is just a preconceived notion, but it doesn't seem like they're too focused on the mobility aspect or having verticality with their
I'm sure
characters.
they're
It seems
not.
like yeah.
That's not really line up with the CS go that
Hmm.
they're really pulling from for the most part.
Yeah.
But
all day
like,
about
who's
jumping from the
the
top ropes and like popping
Yeah,
off
I'm
from the
like
sky.
I feel like this game has like so much potential. This could just be for me personally, but like if you just like let it loose and have like the crazy elemental and then have like the
It's not that
mobility.
game though. It's not what they
Yeah,
want
it's
to do.
not it's not what
You
they
just
That's
want
want
to do.
good.
Shadowrun again, which a lot of people want Shadowrun
Yeah.
again. So just make Shadowrun too. Like
Dude, Shadowrun was
Nasty
I've
awesome.
been
combo.
finding out recently, a lot of people loved that game, and now it wasn't
Dude, it
just
was
us.
like
Like it
it,
was
I
amazing.
feel like they did the system. I don't know how to describe it. The round based system very well with powers, so that way when you got a power, if you died, it's like, all right, well, at least I didn't lose my weapon. You may lose your weapon when you die, but you still have your powers, which is something, so you can still like pull it off with a pistol and wall hacks or a pistol and glider. You're not like completely out of the game. In games like CS, I feel like you get behind early, and then it's just like, well, you have a pistol all game.
There's
Uh,
so many
that's
Yeah,
what-
rounds
you like
though.
really
Like
Yeah.
unless
invest
Yeah.
in
you're
your powers.
completely,
That's why it's like CS is like what that's
Mhm.
the 30, I believe, or something
yeah, I
like
think
that.
something like that. This looks like it's
Mhm.
I saw it too. Something close though. So the only problem, I think you'll be able to get weapons, but the problem is like just getting lapped in like ultimate and everything. But
Yeah, uh-huh. That's another thing that goes into these like games. It's very easy to snowball it into. I see the same thing with League. Someone gets super ahead in level, and it's just like you
Yeah, but
really
you're
can't.
not buffing stats as in they
yeah,
are in League. You still have the
Yeah.
same base stats for each gun and ability. It's
I
just
mean, if you have a pistol and someone has a
yeah, but you're
SMG,
not gonna
yeah,
only
yeah,
have a pistol. And
yeah. By
you
round
just said
10,
But
you
it's
should
like
like
have something.
all
Jake, you're
powers, pistol and knife
underestimating how
only.
yeah,
you're
but you just
underestimating
opened
how
with the
bad I
fact that
am.
like oh you watched someone get like 3 tapped with a pistol and he took out like half the team with just the
Yeah,
pistol.
that's true.
You
But at
did
the
say
same,
that.
I did say that.
That's not my wallet. I don't know.
That's not that's not my fault. I don't know. It's just like I could just be talking from my experience. Absolute dog shit at those kinds of games where like I just end up with a pistol all game and
Yeah,
just get
because
done.
all you do
Because
is
like
just run in.
I'm the type of player that just like wants to rush. Like I don't want to sit in the back and like
Yeah, but
camp
that's what the
corner or
powers
camp a
are
lane.
about, man.
Yeah.
You throw like Viper, right? She's got the wall, right? She's got the wall. Does anybody know if the wall does damage?
Yeah, it does some
The
poison damage.
Yeah, it does a
yeah,
And you
little
can
bit.
also
So
only
I
put it
know.
you put it down once for the whole round.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a meter for it too.
Mhm.
Blaze, not Blaze. Phoenix has that Blaze wall, and his, if you go through it, it does damage to like everybody
Yeah,
except for
and it
him.
heals. Yeah, it heals him. Right.
Then he's got no the his. I
Oh, that's
know for a
the
fact that his
Molotov.
Molotov move heals him, which is going to be
Mhm.
nasty. So you drop the wall, right? You
Mhm.
obscure a vision, right? You weave through the wall, right? You throw the Molotov down and heal yourself while you're coming up with the knife. So you're like coming at him. You're coming at him. You can use the
See,
power
like
in so many interesting ways. It's just like it's got to develop out. So like,
I
okay,
feel that, but I feel like you don't have the mobility because you're saying like you're gonna do this, but you're still walking at like walk speed. Like you're like, yeah, I'm
but
gonna
you
like
have to
go in,
also
but
understand
you're
too the
just like
map
walking
design. It's
through a
not like
wall.
Overwatch where it's a whole bunch of
Mhm,
open corridors for people to like jump around and fly around and
mhm.
shit. It's really tight corners. So your distance is maybe a couple feet.
I feel like there's a lot of open lanes,
Yeah,
just like
but
wide
you
lines of
wouldn't
sight.
pull that move in an open lane.
That's why
Yeah,
you get so much devices for cover.
yeah.
Like that's
Hmm.
such a big part of it. Is like,
Mhm,
okay, I can move up here because unless they're gonna just spam at random balls of wind,
Yeah,
you should be able
and
to
one
mhm.
move
guy
up.
can like throw down his smoke thing from anywhere on the map. He like calls it in like an airstrike, but it's just a smoke strike essentially. So
Yeah,
like,
and
Mhm.
just like this choke is now walled off from vision, like for the rest of the round.
mhm.
Yeah.
Just
I
drop the
do.
smoke wall in front of me as I walk in and knife your boy in the neck.
I'm turning the corner. Drop the smoke.
One positive thing I have to say
Mhm.
is that the abilities seemed very lackluster to me, but the ultimates pretty fucking cool. Like the run it back
But
ability
I
where you
think
can like
you're only gonna get like two per
yeah
game.
yeah that
Two
then it
per
goes back
round.
to like you get like
No,
one or
per
two
game. Like
per game,
Yeah, per
yeah,
like
game.
yeah,
yeah.
because you have to have 6 kills to activate them, and it's probably going to be unless you're a
But
god.
that's what I wanted to transition is like what's like who's the target audience do you think for this? Like is it only like the super sweats or like are they going for a broader um
After my first look at it, I think it's for super sweats. I can't see how casual players can like get into this without.
I think it's gonna be more for the Asian market because they're very. It seems like they like the more magical like fantasy element stuff. So like putting that stuff in the
Mhm,
forefront for that first kind of release
yeah,
trailer.
also
mhm.
it has super low requirements for
PC
PCs like which
specs,
is makes
yeah.
it super popular in Asia.
It's really a
Hmm.
global market.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think it's 100% for super sweats. You can just like tell based on the abilities, because even like for to get any value out of these abilities, you have to have a decent understanding of how the game works and how you can take advantage of certain things. And like
But
a
it's weird. I
casual
saw some
player,
people complaining about the powers that like wow like it's like hindering the
really?
CS:GO people that like they're just like it's too much like visual clutter and just like you have to know a bunch of moves like you have to do with like League and Overwatch and it's like they just want to shoot people. So it's are they
Yeah.
People,
trying to
I feel
just
like.
please everyone and end up pleasing no one? Like
Mhm.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think they have a really tight design. Like they have a really good philosophy on what they want to accomplish with it, and it's really
Mhm.
just an interesting play on a first person shooter mechanics. I wonder how people are gonna like it though. Like not being able to see what you're fucking shooting at. Like I don't know of a lot of games that actually do that. Like, is it just gonna be annoying to players? Like, it'd be like, I can't even play this game because I'm blind half the time.
That I mean that like Steve said, like the CS:GO players were saying that could be a point, but then is it gonna come down to you're gonna have to heavily rely on these wall hacks characters? Like a game that was like that or had a similar problem was Evolve. There was a whole bunch of different characters. It's 4v1 Monster Hunter game, and all there was a bunch of different characters. They all have different assets, but
Hmm.
the best characters were the only ones that were used. And I feel like this game is going to fall into the same pitfall
that
where,
happens with
like,
all like hero shooters of any
yeah,
kind. It's just
when
like
you,
these kids just grind it out to figure out what gives you the
mhm,
slightest advantage, like you said, and they will
mhm,
never
and they just like run with it.
stray.
But
Yeah.
I, I think that their attempt at having so many characters with similar abilities is an attempt to alleviate that so that it's like you don't feel like, well, they had a guy who can produce wall hacks and we didn't. Well,
But
now
then
there's
it's like,
four
what's the point of
characters.
having different characters when they're all
Yeah,
like they're all supposed to have their own feel, but it's more
yeah.
uniform, which does
I
help that problem. But it's kind of like just make it buy whatever power you want. Like
mhm,
why do they like that then?
yeah. I mean, maybe they can like unhinge this game and make it like Shadowrun, where it's like you can mix and match abilities. That would take it to a crazy level, but
It'd probably be too hard to
it could
balance,
be
and it would just get
interesting.
out of
Yeah, it would
control,
definitely
Hmm.
be.
and everyone would be running the same
Yeah,
like
that everyone would be running
drone
the same
wall,
thing.
whatever. Like
Drone wall, self heal, fire, res.
Throwing
But that's
hammers
what it's
from
like.
realm. Yeah.
It's drone roll.
Remember Champions Online? Do you remember?
Yes, that game.
That game was
So,
broken. There's
It
no
was
way to balance a game
yeah,
where
there
you
was
can
no
just
can
a la carte the best moves in the game.
yeah.
Like there's no way to balance it. So like
But
that's the reason why they have the characters. It's like okay,
on
we can
on the inverse, that game was fun as fuck to play. Your character actually felt like it was your character, and you
yeah, but
had
who's playing it now? They're going for
yeah, no,
longevity. Like,
that's true. No one's playing it, but it
I mean,
was fun.
that was the ultimate power fantasy because you're broken. You're literally broken.
but everyone's equally broken, so it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fine.
you're
It's like,
like
but like,
broken
who's the
against
most
we're
other
all
broken?
players, but against
we're all equally
NPCs,
fresh.
you would get destroyed in that game. Yeah.
Mm. What do you guys think about the design? That's like been a big point of contention. Like just like the cartoony style. Like I guess they're
I,
going for more of the
I
popular from like Fortnite
honestly,
and Overwatch. But
Mhm.
I don't care as long as it's like it feels fun to play. The mechanics are smooth, and
I think that's where they
this
landed on it. Where that's where they're putting the emphasis
I
on.
don't care about
Mhm.
lore, like, if the people look pretty or whatever, or like equal representation. I don't care. Everyone could just be like mannequins, but if it feels fun,
Yeah,
I'll play it.
I mean,
yeah, I agree
that's what
with
most
Jake.
of those
It's
games are. But it
mhm.
gives the company ways to make a alternate source of income. You know.
Yeah, to monetize it, but like if it's not fun to play, then I'm not gonna play it. I don't care how
Yeah.
cool I look.
And that's like another thing. I wish these games would stop being first person. I'm a big advocate for third person shooters, especially when you're like selling skins. That's my one thing about Overwatch. You buy all these skins, you can't even see
My
them on your
hands look
own.
so
You
cool.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
look at these sick new hands I got. Everyone else can see your skin, you can't. What is the point?
Then you just got to
We're
keep
like
emoting on people. That's about it.
yeah, that's all you can do. Like honestly, I think this game would be obviously they're trying to capture the CS:GO audience, but I think this game would be a sick third person game.
That completely goes against everything they're trying
Yeah,
to do.
it goes
I
against
know.
like everything they're trying, but like I don't know, just like reading the abilities, I can just see this as like a third person free for all or team deathmatch style game
Yeah.
as opposed to round based. And it would be like insane.
What was the thing we came up with the other day? It was like it was third person melee based weapons with magic.
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
no lock on like I forget what the game was. Like For Honor,
Yeah,
like get rid of the lock on. So it's like Mortal and like Dark Souls where it's just like you have to like constantly be jockeying against each other and it's all like close combat about like blocking. There's like stamina, so if you just hold down block, you're gonna get tired and just get destroyed. So
mhm.
that would be
Yeah,
super
like
fun.
yeah, like a third person melee looter shooter, I want to say, even though it's not shooting, you would accumulate stat buffs and perks from like chests and stuff, and there would be exotic weapons or items on the map that you get, and you'd have to drop everything for it. I think that would be a pretty fun and insane game, kind of like
Real
Spellbreak,
quick,
but like infinitely better.
real quick. Big
Yeah.
problem with third-person melee games.
Hmm.
Um, Animations, right? If your animations are too long, you are going to be
Yeah.
swinging at
No.
air
Yeah.
for a
Jake.
majority of the game without lock on. So
Yeah. No.
like people
Jake
are
and I
just
were
like,
talking about like how like
how
Fortnite
high
did it
is your
really
vertical
well.
jump? Can
Did
you jump over somebody?
No, no, it's gonna
no.
be like
All it's gonna do is just like, oh, you're gonna swing, and now I know like high level play, right? I know that
Mhm.
animation is too long, so I'm gonna jump up in the air and then like attack you while you're doing a stupid
Yeah,
animation.
but all those things can be circumvented with like animation canceling. You just have to enable animations to be canceled. So that way you don't have to deal with, oh, this character's inherently bad just because I wanted to make their move look a little more extravagant than Y characters, you know? I think there's like systems that you can put into place to prevent that. But no, that is a huge problem with third person
Well, all right,
fighting
bringing
games.
it back to what the hell is it called? Valorant,
Valorant.
right? I really think like that game, like that you're talking about, it would be all about flash, right? It'd be
Hmm.
flashy. Like
Yeah,
you want to see, like it would be a spectacle game, right? So you could do a lot of
yeah.
AOE moves, a lot of like whatever. I feel like Valorant is really about fundamentals. Like you look
Hmm.
at it from the game, like a design philosophy, right?
mhm.
All the
Hmm.
moves are very similar, but they have a lot of unique capabilities, even though they all look kind of the same, right? The
Hmm.
difference between like Phoenix and Jet, right? completely. Maybe Jet's a bad example, but
I
like
think it's Omen. He can teleport
Viper.
as his ultimate.
Viper
Also.
is like pretty much the same kit, but like his heal factor on his bomb move is gonna be a completely different than like a Viper that doesn't have that option, and then like her fuel, right? Her
Mhm.
fuel is gonna be a huge differentiator. Like, is that wall really worth it? You know,
Yeah.
like those like now like
Is
we
she the
might look
only
at it from like a
character with
bird's eye
some
view.
kind of resource meter?
She has a resource meter. I don't know how you gain fuel. I hope it's by
I think it's
killing
over
people.
time,
It's
maybe,
just like
but it's definitely at least over time. She's the one that maybe it's her ultimate, but that's like makes like the big cloud of smoke that
yeah,
exists as long as you're inside it,
I'm gonna
and then
see
like you can see everyone.
platform. Hold on a
yeah.
second.
That's like interesting. You can post up with a knife there, Blake, and
Well,
wait
the
for them to step into your cloud of.
Dude, I was like looking at gameplay of my boy Jet and like, started off with his ult, the Blade Storm, and I was like, oh, this guy throws knives. This guy's insane. And then I was like, oh man.
It's the ultimate.
That's
You'll
the
get to do
ultimate.
that twice.
So you can but one cool thing is that when you do it, you get 6 of them, and when you get a kill with it, you get all 6 back, which is I think is
Yeah, but as
interesting.
soon as you die, you lose it. So like knowing you,
Yeah, but
you'll
like
pull it out and then you'll just get immediately put in the ground.
dude,
Yeah, Genji Dragon Bladed.
like yeah, my Genji Dragon Blade treatment. I think like abilities like that are really interesting and unique.
Yeah, Jet's really the only one that has like a very different kit. That and what's the other guy's name? The shadow guy? I forget what his name is.
Omen.
Oh,
Omen.
Yeah,
Oh, my boy.
Omen's got a cool
Just
one. Like I'm
throwing out
really interested to
clones and
see.
shit.
Does he have clones? Like what he
I don't think it's a
has.
clone. I think it's like a moving smoke kind of like.
Yeah.
No, he has
I've
an
seen,
ultimate where he can teleport anywhere on the map, and then
yeah.
it's a clone, and then when you die, you go back to your
Yeah,
body.
Yeah. It's
Now it
like
would be
Mhm.
it's the
interesting
same
to
thing
see if
as
you're
Phoenix.
right.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, Phoenix
Right.
it works like
You just
go
yeah.
back to where you were, right? So like
Yeah.
where you were, you just spawn and then you run out and
I
it's like a
mean
clone and
in
then you
like
die and you
in
come back.
I mean,
theory it
Siege
like
just
it
added
has a
that in their new character, like Yana. Like she puts out a hologram, you use that to go in and scout and dies as soon as like it takes a bit of damage. So it's very similar
Yeah,
to
but
I
are
that.
you
think
vulnerable while that's happening?
Hmm?
Is your main character vulnerable while that's
Yeah, of
happening?
course.
See, I don't like I know Blaze isn't. I
Hmm.
don't know if Omen is because like it's interesting the trade off, right? Like he can teleport anywhere on the map, so you can go in the back line, teleport in from the back, and do like a pincer
can
move
can he
I,
get
where
kills while he's in
I,
that in court?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, but I
that's
think
sick.
his like his starter body is vulnerable, and
Oh,
it's like
so
kind of
you
like
can
a
kill the
Yeah, that's what
download
I'm
time
saying.
maybe.
Mm.
Like
Like
so
okay.
that
you're
has to
in,
be the
you
trade-off.
get there and you can do things, but then
If they
I don't
find
think
your
the
actual
teleport
body.
version can die. Yeah,
Mm.
but it's like over time I think you end up transporting there, and
Yeah.
then you can
Becoming
die.
the okay, then you can die.
Hmm
That yeah, that's they
I
like I
mean,
said,
back
their
off, but
ultimates are super sick. And like going back to the decoy thing, I think that would be a huge ability for this game. I, I think a game needs to nail down a decoy system where it mirrors the player's movement, so that way you like send in your decoy, and then whenever you shoot, the decoy will shoot, and that way you can do some like crazy distraction antics. So you
shadow
send your
clone up.
decoy,
Yeah.
yeah, like
I don't know.
Who's the
You
guy
should just
from
attach an AI
Apex?
to
That
it.
guy's clone
yeah,
thing is
like
Yeah, but he
horrible.
just
yeah,
runs. But
Yeah,
people still
yeah, it
shoot
just
him.
it's
runs.
So,
terrible,
Uh-huh.
but yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
like
people
imagine
still
if
also.
whenever you got your gun, the clone shot, or like whenever you crouch, the clone crouch. Now you can like manipulate that to like make someone think it's an actual player and then get a create an angle. I
all
think
right.
that
So this is how you do it. Copyright right now. You heard it here
copyright
first.
right now. Yeah, this is all
You
trademark.
literally, all right. So you attach an AI to it, right? It shoots and it makes like, you know how you get like the red, like, oh, okay, this is where they're
Hmm.
shooting me from, right?
Hmm.
No damage.
Hmm.
That's how you do it. That's
Yeah,
exactly you're like, oh my god, I'm freaking out because I'm getting shot, right? But you're not taking any damage.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
So you'd have to notice that. And like usually the health bars and like especially nowadays with the minimalist HUDs, you're not really gonna notice. So it's gonna
it's gonna feel
like
like it's like actually
Yeah.
impactful.
yeah, exactly. And what's interesting to me about this game is like they're thinking about how it's going to affect gameplay, and they're really banking on this like obstruction of view being a fun gameplay mechanic. And honestly, I'm concerned that it's not going to be like what we
It
were talking about
see
before.
like I know they're doing minimalistic graphics right now, and plan to stick to this, it is Riot. They're a huge company, to dump some money into graphics. But if it all depends
I don't
on
think
how
they
it
will.
looks. Yeah, they may not, but I think if they make it have some kind of transparency, so it's not just like right now it looks like you just put a block of
I
water
kind of like the
there.
minimalist style of just
Yeah.
like the smooth, like
I'm
not
just saying
talking
for
about-
like
firewall, you know?
transparency, the transparency aspect, so you can still potentially hit a shot. It'll just be a lot harder. So it's not like your vision's 100% gone.
Nah, like
As
those
of
are like
now.
straight
That's
blocks.
the
Yeah.
point
Those
then.
are
Yeah.
straight blocks. Yeah, that's the whole point. And my
Mhm.
like, what my
It's a
point was,
shitty
like, I don't really care
firewall
about
that
the
hurts if you're
graphics.
dumb enough to walk into it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the whole
like,
point is it obscures vision, gives you some
Yeah.
cover, even though it's not real cover. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it's really just it's so prevalent in that game. I don't know if it's going to be annoying or not. Like I don't know whose move it was, but it's like this purple and like blue thing where it's like a huge wall of it. So like there's a lot of gameplay where you're just running through like you can't see
It's
anything.
no, that's what's her name's water thing.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever that thing is, that's a stupid move, to be
Yeah,
well, then
honest
you
with
have
you.
it's
like
I think it's
Sage has
Sage with the
she coats the ground in a thing that slows you. I don't think she
yeah.
obscures vision, but that's like
She has
another
Sage has a
take.
wall that's
She
like
has a wall. She also has a she can like cover a whole lane in this like
Yeah, and
Mm.
yeah, the slow
goo.
orb. Mhm.
yeah, the what's his name?
I think that's what you're
The
talking about, Blake, the slow orb that like just I did that was like one of the why I was saying like maybe add some transparency because it looks like there's just like obstructive masses just in the map that just
But that's what it is. It's literally there's a
yeah.
lot of that. There are moves that are
Mhm.
like you walk through it and you can kind of see a little bit in front of you if it's like a larger effect. But like
Mhm.
I think it's good. I think it's gonna piss a lot of people off.
I agree, but
Like
like when I say like have some kind of transparency like in Call of Duty when you're in a smoke screen, you can't see shit, but if you get close enough to a player, you can still see them. Like
well,
things
yeah,
like
I'm
that.
pretty sure that's how that works.
I feel like this game doesn't have I feel like they're just like solid entities that you strictly can't see through
Yeah,
on
I
the
just
Well,
wonder how core it is to the whole thing where it's like, is it just like a cat and mouse of like obscure your vision, see through wall? Like,
see
is it
Yeah.
just
yeah, it's
is that
like
like the
is it
whole?
gonna are you gonna need to have two scouter guys, one to go with each of your guys, so that way you can
Yeah.
see at all times like
yeah, it's gonna be a
it,
lot. That's what I'm feeling like. It's really gonna be overpowered like that. Like what we were talking about last night was
mhm,
like those seeing through wall hacks. That's gonna be the whole game.
mhm.
And like if the moves don't obscure that, then those moves are going to be kind of pointless because
They do
everybody's
not,
just
I
going to be
don't think.
yeah, and like
But it's all on a cooldown, you know. So it's
Mhm.
they're real short rounds, but you got to really just choose your engagements and when you want to like blow
yeah,
your
Yeah.
one charge of it or
I
two.
mean, also you can add characters that like clear shit, you know,
Mm.
like just like remove clutter.
That's why
I
people
really just
don't
want to
like
knife
silence
people.
character in general because it's just
Hmm.
like no one likes
Like
like
this,
Sombra
yeah,
because
Mm,
it's
no,
just like
yeah,
wow,
Yep.
the thing
I
I
can't,
just did isn't happening anymore, and
Or
that's
I
yeah,
fun.
can't do
great.
anything. Yep.
I
I
can't do
can't
anything.
play my character that I like to play. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's like
annoying.
you don't want to
no,
like take back the one thing. Like you
no
gave a
one did
character
that.
a thing, you should be able
Uh,
to do it. Like
I wish they had gameplay of Phoenix's curveball. Like
they
they
do.
have gameplay, yeah,
Sent
but
that
like
to you yesterday. It's a flashbang.
from the effect though. I want to see how much blind time it has.
Oh, from the other side. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it is like dependent on how accurate you get it, the worse it is. Like if you get a headshot with that, are they just like out for a good 5 seconds? But
Is it
yeah,
like
up here,
auto seeking? Like he literally just throws
no,
that shit around a wall.
you curve it.
yeah, you can grab it.
You can curve it left or right, and it just goes. I like that
That's a
mechanic.
really
Yeah,
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 that's a
they
really
they
cool
do
move.
have interesting and unique mechanics. I just feel like they don't.
They
That's like that
really
curveball is not
The
gonna
the end
change.
result
Like,
is
yeah,
like,
the end result is like I couldn't see for half a second.
Yeah.
yeah,
but
but
It's
that
that's
like,
could be
that's
meanwhile,
pretty
that's the
meanwhile,
ubiquitous
my
difference
in
boy
games
between
just
me
though.
my boy just
slitting your
hit the
throat and
fadeaway
you
of his
being
life.
a fucking a sponge on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm banking it all on like people being blind long enough for me to slit their throat. I'm literally only gonna use the knife in this game.
I can't
I
wait
am
for you to
so
develop the
excited.
knife meta.
Yes.
Yo, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's all about that. I'm gonna weave through these stupid smoke screens and I'm gonna stab you in the neck.
You just spend
That
all
Did
your
someone?
money on abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm
I don't know
gonna
if they're
do. I'm
separate
all
from
in on
guns, but
abilities that are
Mhm.
probably garbage, but I don't care.
I think the abilities are separate from guns. It's like a different.
I
Yeah, they
remember
are.
hearing
You
that.
Yeah,
use the
it was
same
like the
points.
bottom row of.
Well, then I was watching some of the early footage, and it was like, oh, this guy bought 3 abilities and still has his pistol.
His pistol.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
That's
all
I
the
me.
don't
time.
know how you I don't know how you get them separately, you know, like
No, yeah, they don't. It's all the same pool. Whatever the point system is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
why I
from
was
the same
wondering if
pool.
it was like League where you can like level up your abilities and maybe they get progressively
think so.
stronger.
You get more of them. So it depends on the move. Like
maybe get
what's
more
her name?
charges.
Jet. You can get multiple. Like I saw a guy use it 3 on one match, like in quick succession. So
That'd
like
be
there was a
interesting if
lot
like
of.
towards the end everyone's going nuts. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and it's going to be a little like I'm thinking it's going to be a little ridiculous when everybody's just throwing nonsense at the point when you're all there.
I think that's what they don't want. I think they do want it to come down to like the team who has the best aim has the clear edge,
Yeah.
and you can like
Mhm.
creatively use these walls and things
Yeah.
to like
to like
help your
try
aim
and
be better, make up for
yeah.
your shit aim. But
Managing your utility, like on a.
That is a good. I didn't think about it from that perspective. Trying to close the skill gap using the vision
it's
clutter.
gonna be hard. Like
Mhm.
like it's
But
not
then
gonna be
again,
like
it's
just
like
spam abilities and win. Like
yeah,
you
the
gotta
better
show
players are
game
gonna
sense.
have that ability to use that way also,
Mhm.
and it's just
Yeah, and that's what I'm curious what it comes down to is like how much of a aim skill gap can you bridge with these abilities? Because like
mhm,
I'm
there's so
hoping
many
a
things
lot.
in Overwatch that you can with like ability usage and positioning that like
mhm.
it doesn't really matter if your aim isn't that good
Yeah,
because it's
that's
all
one
about
thing about
setting them up.
yeah, that's one thing about Overwatch that does a really good job. There's heroes that excel at gunplay, and then there's heroes that excel ability play, and that's a very fine line, and
And that's why
Blizzard
it
does
attracts a
do a good
diverse
job.
audience, but I
Yeah,
don't know if this will because
yeah,
aim is
It's all
definitely
about the aim. Yeah.
mhm,
yeah.
It'll be interesting how they handle the early on, like pro play. Are they gonna just let third party TOs come in and like organize events and kind of help nurture like a grassroots scene, or are they gonna go? How quickly do you think they're gonna go into the full like structured league, like franchise league system, if at all?
4
I,
months.
I don't.
have
They
they
might do a
made any?
circuit, but I think they'll give it like a year to breathe, honestly, like before because they clearly want this to be like an esport, and it
Uh-huh,
will be. But I do think they want to let it like develop a little because
yeah,
what's the point of having it so early if the
I'm.
game
yeah.
isn't at its final form, you know,
Hmm.
I feel like
or
you gotta
close
let
to it.
your game become an esport by itself. You can't be like this is our game, it's an esport, and then like just throw a tournament at it. I feel like that's just like not. You have
I
to
don't
let
know,
the
man.
community develop naturally because then you're just gonna get an infusion of people who just want the money
Yeah, that's
from
what
competing
Fortnite
in it.
did, and now they just keep throwing money at it. You gotta have deep pockets for this kind of thing. Like if you're just gonna force it, throw money at it. That's all it is.
I think Riot's smarter than that because League
I would
wasn't
agree.
intended to be
Hmm.
a super competitive game. It just like turned into that, and I think a lot of the game companies need to realize that like you're gonna be out there making games, and when you do notice buzz or traction in your competitive scene, that's a good sign of success in a game.
I mean, it's a fine line because you do need to like nurture it a little,
Yeah.
or people will
Mhm.
just get sick of it and be like, "There's no point
Yeah.
in dedicating all
Maybe
this time to being really good at
success
this."
is a longevity. I feel like a competitive scene guarantees longevity, and you like you said, you don't want to cater to the competitive side too much because then the casuals get shafted, and then you have a game that only the best players enjoy playing. So you have to
But
see
what
both
casuals are in
sides.
this game?
Yeah, yeah,
We've already said it
exactly. Like
doesn't seem like
it
it's
doesn't seem like you just pick up this game and play. You're gonna get
so. I
dumpstered
mean, I
for.
can't think of many games that really went in with the intent of being like, "This is gonna be an esport," and like that's it. Like every game has some kind of
I think
casual.
Realm Royale,
That's super
That's why
Spellbreak.
it
casual.
died immediately.
Yeah,
That
Realm Royale,
died.
Spellbreak
Spellbreak.
is dead already.
Spellbreak was dead on arrival.
Dead on
Rest
arrival,
in
man.
peace to
Yeah.
them.
I don't know. This is what I'm hoping from Riot, right? I'm hoping that they're gonna build a game first, right? They're committed to making a good game, right?
Mhm.
And then like yeah, or they have the mechanics and the bones for an esport, and that's what they're really pushing for, right? But when it comes down to it, they're gonna make a good game.
I think they have the benefit of coming in like so late. It's like, what's the point of rushing out like a crazy
Hmm.
esport? Like, who's
Mhm.
gonna come in and steal your thunder? Everyone's already, the landscape. Like, there's all the
Yeah.
big players pretty much have
Yeah, you just
their
have to
guy, so
navigate it correctly
you
and
just can't
nurture it.
fuck it up. Yeah.
They have a lot of potential here, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to play it, but for me on the outside looking in, I feel like this is a game that I personally can't get into because I'm just gonna get dumpstered early.
Oh man,
But I'm down to try it.
my boy is trash. My
Yeah,
boy's like,
certified
hey, my boy,
trash.
Bro,
like final say, my
I'm
boy
not
says
patient.
it's trash.
No,
Yeah.
No,
I'm not
get you.
saying the game is trash. I think that this game has potential to be
It's just
good,
not going to
and it
cater to your
depends on.
playstyle. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not gonna
I
cater
don't know,
to
man.
my.
I'm
Why can't they make every game for me
Yeah,
specifically?
I
Yeah,
know.
why can't,
Gosh.
bro? I'm not trying to hide it in a corner. I'm trying to run in and kill six
Yeah,
or
but you
die
There's
also
a
yeah,
thing
three.
you
play.
gotta
yeah,
do.
but that's what this
You
game
say
is. That's
that, but you
what
also
it
play
is.
snipers in Overwatch. So get over yourself.
Yeah, dude, you're always in the back. You say you're in the front, but
Yeah.
you're in the fucking back most of the time, dude. I'm
What's the
always
power of
picking
being in the front
somebody's
while being
teeth.
in the back?
Dude, I'm always
Yeah,
out
Blake's
there
gonna be the
picking
one who's
people's
disappointed
teeth.
when he can't knife his way through every win.
No, it's about catching the weak people in the back. It's about like I'm not with the team. I'm creeping up on you. I saw your whole
All right,
team walking
I
together.
will.
I knifed your boy, and now I put the smoke screen down. You don't know where I am, popping off in like where I think you are, and
If
then I'm
they
like, if I'm
add,
out of ammo, I'm just gonna come at you with a knife.
Oh, you're reloading? My knife
oh,
doesn't
you,
need reloading.
mine
That's
doesn't need.
that's what it is. It's gonna
Bro,
be
if
John Wick. I'm gonna be counting these shots. I'm gonna be
you know,
counting these
I'm gonna
shots. You're
be
out of ammo.
counting.
Now I'm running at you and you're reloading.
Who's it like Archer? He every time someone
Yeah, he's
enters
like,
a
I'm
clip.
counting the shots.
I knew you
I
were gonna
just
do
do
that.
that. It's
I
really
just
helpful.
Yeah.
what are you, yeah. I think a huge boost to this game, if me personally, would be if they added some kind of melee weapon, like a sword or something, just like
But
something.
like,
Yeah,
why?
but
Like, all
yeah,
right,
Again,
so like
For
if we're
like
melee
for
talking
feels
like
about it
that
like
very
my play
tired.
style, it's
you're
not
gonna
gonna be
need to give
viable
them a
because you don't move fast enough.
Yeah, you're gonna need a movement ability for that character. Otherwise, you're just gonna get gunned down. That's why
But
Doomfist
that's what
works,
Jet is
because he
all
can
about.
launch himself in to get into the melee range. So.
And get out.
Yeah, Jet is gonna be really good. But
Mhm.
I really don't think she's gonna be the strongest for that play style. I really think it's gonna be like a Phoenix or a
She,
Viper.
she needs like some
Yeah.
help to set up. Otherwise, she just pops up in the air and she
Yeah,
gets domed.
but she's
Yeah.
Well,
like
no,
one
she's
of,
got sideways lunges as well. Like you can weave.
Hmm.
Looks
yeah,
like
but
that's
She's got
all
the
only
weave.
for
but then you
traversing the
have
map.
like
Like,
Jet. I feel
Watch
like
the
Jet
weave.
sounds cool on paper. Jet was my personal favorite character after watching the gameplay. But like when
seems
you
like
have
portrayed
things
throughout the
like,
game.
yeah, when you have things like firewalls, healing, wall hacks, like what really does Jet have to offer outside of like a fun playstyle for you
I think it's
personally?
really going to be the obscuring vision is going to be her thing as well. Like just the
Yeah.
balls, like because she has a lot of more flexibility than other people. Like she can cover up high ground windows with just
Yeah,
popping
with
up there.
just
You know.
like this.
Mhm.
Like I really think that this is going to be the play, right? You throw the ball thing, right? You throw the whatever I forget what the name of the move is, but you throw that in there, and then you use the updraft, and now you can see if they're backing up or not, or they're coming forward, right? So they're going to be like looking for you, right,
Yeah,
coming out of it, and then you can use that to pop off.
They showed that
yeah,
someone
but
did that in
like,
one of the trailers or the gameplay videos. They like threw down a smoke thing, used updraft to get on top of a crate, and looked over to see if anyone was coming in. They did
Yeah,
exactly
like
that.
it's really going to be about using height to your advantage, but like depending on how high your vertical jump is, you might just be able to jump over the whole thing. Like I hope there's a shotgun. Oh my god, I hope there's a shotgun because you
yeah,
use
Jet would
updraft
be, and
forward,
then you do
and
the
now I'm
dash.
landing on your boy. Now I'm blowing your boy's brains out from the sky, and I'm in your whole team. Like yeah, I might die in 2 shots, but like it doesn't matter.
It
I
doesn't
got
matter.
2 out of 4.
That kid
Two out
got
of
dumped.
4, 2 out of 5, however many players
Yeah,
there are.
and
Like
then
I
your
just
team
need to
lets you
go
down.
positive.
And then your team comes through and gets dumpstered because their vision obstruction character is dead first.
But like, there 19 other characters have vision
vision
They're all
obstruction.
gonna
obstruction.
see you coming, bro.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be seeing you coming.
They're all gonna see my boy's gonna go
Like
to
the-
do a sweet move, and
And what
he's
are
gonna
they
be
gonna
able
do? And what are they gonna do?
My boy
If,
feels
if I
real
see,
slick, and
all
then
right,
the other
but like
team's
this is
just
the thing. If
watching
I
it all
see
through the
cultural
wall.
appropriation, Hanzo, then I'm out. I pack up.
There's more. There's
Yeah, like
many wall
Omen.
hacks.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's about like too. Like you got to think about it. Are they going to be able to execute on that knowledge, right? And if I can move fast enough, or like freak you out enough, like you got to think about it. Like I play these types of games. Like I talk about it a lot, but Turok, right? Turok knifing. That was all about making people flinch, right? Like you don't know what I'm about to do to you, so like you're gonna be like trying to shoot me. I'm gonna serpentine. I can take enough damage where I can knife you in the throat, right? This game I don't have that option where I'm not gonna be able to take a lot of shots, right? But you have the obstruction of view where I know if I push you hard enough, I'm gonna be able to make you back up. And like probably in a straight line because you're not going to be able to like see what kind of obstacles are behind you. So it's about trapping people in like a corner.
Yeah, and
Predator.
yeah, expanding on that, that's like what the whole competitive side of Fortnite is about. I've seen numerous pro players talk about it, and the number one aspect of being a competitive player is being able to identify when you put your opponent in that situation where they're frantic and losing control of characters by
I
doing.
love the mind games. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like I don't think like FPS skills should only be aiming. Like, I think there should
yeah.
be like
See, that's what
more
I was
stupid
hoping for with these
strategy and
abilities.
philosophy of it.
You're not the best aimer, but you can outsmart your opponent, and that'll
Mhm.
bridge the skill gap. You know.
Yeah, and I think that this game gives you a lot of options for that. It's
It
just going to be interesting to get my
Mhm.
hands on it and really see
and
how
see how
much
it is
advantage you're
in
going to be able to
practice.
take.
Yeah.
It's just like I assume that there's going to be a lot more like those powers are going to get a lot more use than I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
but like maybe they suck, and it really comes down to how many headshots you can get, and that's really what's going to be the life of this game.
Yeah.
Is does it come down? Is it just a CS:GO with some? It's just a more annoying CS:GO.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I know we've been going for a while, but it comes
Another like
down
5
to
minutes.
yeah, it comes down to Riot. They have experience making an esport, but League of Legends is a MOBA. Can they execute on a FPS? Do they know things like? Are they thinking about things like that? Or it's
I
like, all
think
right, you
they
can.
seem very methodical. I can't. It's really
Mhm.
hard to tell what they want, but they definitely
Mhm.
like have something in mind. Like, it's
Yeah,
not like they're
they
just like
haven't
throwing this
revealed their
all in.
whole
Their
architect
whole
plan. Yeah,
Yeah,
that for sure.
but they definitely are going in with an idea. If it works, that's a different
Hmm.
story. But at least they're not just like going out half
Yeah, they're
cocks.
just
Like,
like,
let's see.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Hopefully.
know if I'm worried about them executing on it. I'm more worried about is what they're executing on, what the fans and I don't think it's going to be. I really think that this game is going to crash and burn just because I think it's going to be for the hardcore competitive scene. They're going to be like, this is unplayable.
Mm.
Mhm.
Just different
And then
like
it has zero casual
expectations.
appeal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're all in on competitive, and they're like, all right, well, you're fucking up my shots. So like my skill ceiling is like way you're lowering a skill ceiling, but at the same time, like the
But
minimum
it's a skill of
play
its
is
own. It's a whole different skill set. It's like if you just want to prove you have the best aim, go play CS. But this should open up like a new avenue of skill and like strategy. Is I
I
think their
really hope
idea.
it does.
Yeah. I hope it
because then
works.
because then I'm gonna love this game. But if it doesn't, then it's trash, and
I'm
that's
still
my
waiting for
opinion.
Shadowrun 2.
Oh
Shadow.
my god,
I
dude!
want to be
Don't
able to
even get me
teleport behind
started.
someone with a
What?
sword
What's the
Uh,
verdict?
and then
Mm-hmm.
glide out.
Is Valorant trash? The verdict is Shadowrun 2. When's it coming
Shadowrun
out?
2.
That
When's
was
it
always
coming
gonna
out?
be how
The
this
game that
ended.
everyone
Like,
wants.
Yeah, MLG Demo 2.
MLG Demo 2.